Open your phone, open your notes app, open the folder of saved posts, the bookmarks, the list of things you're going to do one day. How many versions of yourself are in there? The version who wakes up at 5, the version who runs the marathon, the version who starts the business, the version who writes the book, the version who learns the language, the version who finally gets in shape, the version who quits the job, the version who becomes someone else entirely. You've been collecting them for years, each one a promise, each one a possibility, each one a door you haven't walked through but refuse to close. And that's the trap, the devil's favorite trap. Not the life you're living, the life you could be living, because the possible self is intoxicating. It doesn't require effort, it doesn't require sacrifice, it doesn't require failure or embarrassment or the slow, grinding reality of actually becoming something. The possible self just sits there in your imagination, perfect and untarnished, waiting for the day you finally decide to become it. And that day never comes. And you know it, deep down you know it. Because the possible self isn't a goal, it's a drug. It's the hit of identity without the cost of action. It's the feeling of being impressive without having done anything impressive. It's the comfort of knowing you could be great without ever having to face the possibility that you might not be. Think about how many times you've told yourself, I could do that if I really wanted to. That sentence is a cage. It protects your ego from the risk of trying and failing. As long you don't try, you can still believe you're the person who would succeed. The moment you try, you might find out you're not. So you stay in the possible, you stay in the someday, you stay in the version of yourself that exists only in your head. And the devil loves it because the devil doesn't need you to make bad choices. The devil just needs you to never make the choice at all, to stay suspended in the amber of your own potential, to die with all your music still inside you, as the saying goes. Look at the evidence. How many courses have you bought and never finished? How many books have you started and abandoned? How many goals have you set and forgotten? How many times have you told yourself this time it's different? It's not it's not that you lack discipline, it's not that you lack motivation, it's not that you lack time. It's that the possible self is safer than the actual self. The possible self can never fail. The possible self can never be embarrassed. The possible self can never be seen trying and coming up short. The actual self has to get up early when it's cold and dark. The actual self has to write the first terrible draft. The actual self has to run the mile and be slow. The actual self has to start the business and lose money. The actual self has to be bad before it can be good. And that's terrifying. So you stay in the possible, you stay in the planning, you stay in the research, you stay in the preparation, you stay in the almost, because almost feels like progress without the risk. Almost feels like you're moving without actually going anywhere. Almost lets you keep the dream alive without ever having to test it against reality. But here is the truth you've been avoiding. The possible self is not your destiny. The possible self is your prison. It's the devil's most elegant chain because it doesn't look like a chain at all. It looks like hope, it looks like ambition, it looks like a bright future just waiting for you to step into it. But it's not a future, it's a delay. It's a way of keeping you comfortable in the cage of your own untested potential. The person you could become is not a gift waiting to be unwrapped. It's a choice wanting to be made. And every day you don't make it, you're making a different choice. The choice to stay where you are. The choice to keep the dream safe by never risking it. The choice to be the person who could have instead of the person who did. So here is the question you need to answer today, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, today. What is one possible self you need to kill? Not the version of you that's bad, the version of you that's perfect, the version that exists only in your head, the version that's been keeping you that's keeping you stuck because as long as you're dreaming about them, you don't have to become anyone. Kill the possible self, not by giving up, by choosing, by picking one thing and actually doing it, by accepting that you will be bad, that you will be awkward, that you will fail, that you will look foolish, that the actual version of you will never be as impressive as the possible version. And that's okay because the actual version is real. The actual version is alive. The actual version is the one who gets to look back at the end of their life and say, I tried, I failed, I learned, I became. The possible self never becomes anything. The possible self just waits forever. Stop waiting, pick something, close every other door, burn the boat, and become whoever you become on the other side. Even if it's not who you imagined, especially if it's not who you imagined, because the person you're meant to be is not the perfect version in your head. The person you're meant to be is the one who emerges from the mess of actually trying.